So what's going on, guys? This is Brad here, and I'm joined by Josh from the Rewind team. It's really awesome to talk to you, Josh. Thanks a lot for this. Much appreciated. So just like to start off by just asking about how long you've been with the team and how long have you managed to... Sorry, how have you been able to start with the team? How did you come about with that?
So, it must have been about a year and a half ago now. I was pretty much just looking for something to put onto my CV, because with university and I actually have a placement year.
Right.
I was looking for something to put on my portfolio for the placement year and realised I didn't have anything really stand out.
Okay.
I had a lot of tech stuff, like engine stuff, but no game on there. So I was looking for a project that interested me and stumbled across Rewind.
Okay.
And just looked at it and went, that's what I need to do. And sent an application in and somehow got onto the team.
Well, that's really good. So, would you say that Timesplitters means a lot to you as well? Is it a very important game to you, would you say?
Very.
Yeah, and that's good. So what sort of history have you had with it? Did you play it with friends or with family? Have you got very fond memories of it then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so pretty much growing up, me and my brother we didn't really have online play at the time because we was quite young, but we had the Xbox, and we had Timesplitters Future Perfect, and I think I don't know if we had Timesplitters 2 on the Xbox or PlayStation, but it was pretty much that and Halo were the only two games that we would ever play together. Outside of that, we were pretty much enemies most of the time.
Alright, well, yeah.
Timesplitters just brought us together and it's worked really well. It's had fun.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's what I love about this series is it's important to a lot of people and it's a cult classic at this point. But when it comes to the development of Rewind, do you feel that the long development cycle has affected the game at all?
I won't particularly say it's a long development cycle because this is not too public of a thing right now, but I know Alfred was talking about it with a few people that it's not the same version as we started with.
No.
So
Okay.
in the 4 years or so that we've been working on this, we've had 5 different versions of the game that we've had to scrap for various reasons. Like originally we started in CryEngine, but I think the developers at the time just struggled with the engine too much to even make the game, so they moved to Unreal at the time.
Okay.
And things like that have just kind of caused restarts over and over again. But at this point, we've got, since about January time, we've got a solid base that we refuse to scrap. We've got a bit more help from areas we need, and we have a solid plan that we're sticking to. So
That's good. So
the
yeah.
cycles are pretty small right now.
Okay, so the progress is coming along really steady there with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when it comes to how the game will play, are you concerned at all about any balancing issues? Because with Timesplitters and with GoldenEye as well, you're able to play as the small characters, so either Oddjob with GoldenEye or the monkeys in Timesplitters' case. So you have the shorter enemies that are harder to hit, and you also have characters that have different stats available to them. Do you feel that it might be a concern for online play, if people might think there's some balancing issues at all for modern standards?
Not really. I'd say Timesplitters was never a game designed around being balanced.
Okay.
It was designed to be fun as the first point.
Yeah.
The competitive scene wasn't there for competitive reasons, it was there to have fun.
Yeah. So some people that are more used to modern shooters, they probably wouldn't get that. But it's not for them, it's for the fans, I'd say.
I'd say they still find their enjoyment from it. It's like if you see the success of games like Stanley Parable and Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
They made the success by being fun as the first point.
That's absolutely right.
But although Timesplitters isn't the same kind of level of silliness, it still has its charm, and that makes it so much fun.
Yeah. Well, with Goat Simulator and things like that, it's built to be fun, not necessarily to be polished or anything, because it's very buggy, but deliberately so they haven't. It has a lack of polish deliberately with that. When it comes to the aiming system, I've been wondering this for a while and what you're looking to do with it. So, Timesplitters 2 had the old school style of aiming that we see in GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, where when you rotate or when you turn to aim, it actually moves the cursor along the screen. Your crosshair moves with you. Well, what sort of aiming do you prefer? Do you prefer a more modern aiming or the old school aiming? And how would you implement those aiming styles?
So First of all, I actually prefer the more modern aiming. I just find it easier to use. But in the game right now, we actually do have the option for both.
Okay.
I said the option for both. The fixed aiming is currently more of like a hybrid, so the cursor moves a bit, but nowhere near as much.
Yeah.
So it's currently a hybrid in classic aiming, although we are looking to get a solid fixed aim point as an option as well.
Right. Well, I do feel with Timesplitters 2, it's good that you can make a sort of improvement on the moving cursor or moving crosshair, because in Timesplitters 2 it made the game far more difficult than it needed to be, I feel. And if it had more of a, even if it did have a moving crosshair, if it didn't move quite as much, it's a bit crazy with the aiming with it. So yeah, it's good that you're taking both into consideration and you can improve the Timesplitters 2 aim there. So for the next question we have here then is about the teaser trailer. So there was some negative response about the teaser trailer, but I speculate that it might be from non-fans who don't quite understand the history behind this game and what it means to people. So what would you say in response to the negativity to the teaser trailer?
So the teaser trailer was an interesting one for us because, like, it wasn't like, so it was made in a bit of a rush and not fully thought through. So I agree it is a pretty bad trailer, like some people are saying, but it was designed more for like the people on the Discord and that, like the very close fans we have, more to tell them that we are still alive and still working. And then like it got picked up by media and that and kind of blown out the water. And I think it was just kind of a trailer that wasn't designed for the press it got, and that caused negativity in that because it wasn't what people wanted.
Yeah, people were expecting like something of it, like full gameplay and things like that. But when it comes to the trailer itself, when you said about the made for people in the Discord and stuff like that, would you say that as many people as you would have liked have found some of the secrets and whatever you've hidden in the teaser trailer?
So the fun thing with the secrets is only one person on the team knows them.
Right.
Damien is the only one on the team that knows what the secrets are.
Oh well.
So everyone else on the team has just as much guessing work as like the people outside the team.
Well, in regards to him as well, have you heard from him at all, or is he quiet at the moment? Because of course he's going through his moving and stuff at the moment.
So at the moment he's pretty quiet, but if we do need him, we can actually reach out to him and talk to him. So a few weeks ago I actually did talk to him on Twitter and that, to ask about how he's doing and get his ideas on some stuff.
Right. Okay. So he's still about.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just not particularly as active as he wants to be right now.
Well, there's a lot on with him at the moment. Yeah. Well, so the next question then, how many characters are we hoping to see on launch, and can we expect mainly fan favourites from the launch characters?
So we don't have a solid number for launch. Like, none of the character stuff is set in stone right now, but we do have a number for the one that we're aiming for the internal demo, and internally we're aiming for 5 characters.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure if that's what's going to be in the launch or not, and we may extend that a bit more.
Okay. You're not able to disclose which characters at the moment, or?
I'm looking at a list, but I can't read it out to you.
Okay, that's understandable. That's absolutely fine. Okay. So then, with the maps as well, how many maps would you say you're hoping to have at launch, and are you able to tell us how many are currently completed of the maps?
So I'm not sure how many are on launch. We still have, again, we have the list of 5 for the internal demo. I'm not sure if we have plans to extend that or not yet. It's not a talk we've had. In terms of completeness, I'd say none of them we wouldn't consider any of them complete. A lot of them are heavy work in progress, and like a lot of progress has been done on them. But all of them are missing at least a little polish and the final touches that we want. But
Okay.
many of them are still like blackouts and concepts and stuff right now.
Yeah, just sort of like white boxes of what they could be.
For a sense of scale, people that have seen Compound, like the most up-to-date version of Compound, that's probably our most complete map.
Right. Okay. And have you sort of... Is a full recreation of the original? It's not like a reimagining of it at all? It is a full recreation of how it was?
So, the plan is, the actual game itself is a full recreation, but the level art, we're allowing the environment artists to take some kind of personal inspiration that they want. Like, if you saw Damien's Warzone video, he took the Warzone concept and moved the level layout into a new time zone and that. And I think that kind of freedom just helps the level designers get a bit more enjoyment and bring the maps more to like something that's visually appealing to players.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really good that you've given the artists that sort of freedom to make things like that, rather than having to make it an exact recreation of the original map. Would you say you'd be adding any personal touches to the game, for example, Easter eggs or any personal messages in the maps at all?
So, Damien has a habit of putting Easter eggs in everything.
Right.
Although his Easter eggs are ones that you won't be able to find unless you either no clip or use mod tools. So his Easter eggs are more designed for the other developers. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that on release, but I'm sure many people will try.
Yeah, some people will try and no clip and things like that, so they can run around the maps. So, because of course the launch, it's going to be multiplayer focused. Something I've been very eager to know actually is, will we have offline split screen multiplayer and bot matches at launch?
Unsure. We'd really want to. The problem is getting an AI programmer in to do bots properly.
Yeah, because that's a whole other element there. There'll be like another layer you'd have to take into consideration to have that. But for offline, for split screen without bots, are you sure you'll be able to do that at launch, or?
It's on the fence right now because it depends on what, like, with CryEngine it becomes slightly difficult to do things like split screen out the box.
Yeah, definitely it does, because it's designed primarily for a first-person single-player experience, or having a multiplayer with servers and things. It's usually aimed toward that.
We're going to give it a go at pushing the engine, because split screen is what made my history of Timesplitters a thing.
Yes, same, absolutely same. That's what I love most about it. Even co-op campaign, or just with the arcade, and just doing custom matches.
At the very least, you'd be able to do two instances of the game on one computer, so you can run the game twice as a way to get around that at the very least.
Yeah, so it would be in two windows.
Yeah.
With that.
Worst case.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good starting point for players who do want to do offline multiplayer. That's a good starting point, definitely. Would you say that when it comes to your development and what you have to do you have full creative freedom of that, or do Crytek sort of call the shots on it?
So, Crytek are very, very hands-off right now. Like, the most we ever get from them is kind of like tech advice, and like sometimes, well, when we brought up to them about we're using Unreal and that, they advised us to use CryEngine. They didn't force us to do it, but it's kind of like a hint, we own the IP, be careful what you're doing kind of thing. Which is perfectly fair. Like, if I was them, I would have done exactly the same, but the way they handle it is actually really nice for us. So it's very much our game in their IP and their engine.
Yeah, so they sort of nudged it that they'd rather it was CryEngine, because obviously it's their engine, but they haven't said you have to at the moment. So it's sort of, you have that choice to make at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is another question sort of based off the maps, where you said you can have full creative freedom. Have you played GoldenEye Source at all?
No.
Well, it's a multiplayer mod for Half-Life, or sort of Source engine, and it's multiplayer only of recreation of GoldenEye. And it has multiplayer maps that are based off of the single-player campaign levels, so they're just sort of segments of single-player campaign levels that have been designed for multiplayer. Would we see anything like that from you, do you know? Perhaps if we had a small arena based off of the Siberia intro?
It's something we talked about at one point, but I think the main thing at the moment is we have so many other maps to get done first. It's kind of bottom of the chain if we were ever going to do it.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's just be a sort of interesting way to recreate the game, because you can do whatever you want with it now, because you have all of the creative design freedom to make any sort of map that you'd like with that. So it's good to have the opportunity to do whatever you want. When it comes to vehicles, a few people have asked me about this and wanted me to ask. When it comes to the vehicles, because we saw them in Future Perfect, would you want to implement those at all?
So the way we're approaching it right now is, if it was in the original, it's in the new one. So
Right.
maps that had vehicles will still have vehicles, but there will likely be, well, they'll probably be tied to gamers and that, and server options. So server admins can like enable and disable vehicles based on what they want in that level. I think that would work pretty well for us. We do actually have a mock-up of the Jeep, but it's very early right now, and we don't plan to get it working anytime soon.
Okay. So when it comes to the modes and the maps, of course, all three of the Timesplitters games have got massive customization of your modes and variables that you want within it. Are you going to fully recreate all of that stuff, would you say, and would that be available at launch?
We hope, but we're not sure when. Like, launch would be nice to have that working, but there's a lot of it, so it's kind of that way up in balance.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many different variables that you can change. You can select all of the different weapons, all of the different bot sets you want, all of the different elements within the game modes, and that would obviously be a lot to take on. So at launch, I would assume then, if you didn't have all of those, you would have some of the base modes that people would be expecting, like stuff like virus and stuff. Is that right?
We actually do plan to have virus in one of the very first versions. It's more when it's right for us, because at the moment we have like weapons and that to focus on, and we currently have deathmatch and team deathmatch built in, so it's kind of balancing out what needs to be done to get the game working over what makes it a success, because we can add game modes in later on if we ever need that extra time. But
Right.
at the same time, we do understand like virus is what made Timesplitters such a big thing for some people.
Yeah, Hospital on Timesplitters 2. That was my childhood with virus.
Things like that we try and prioritise as early as possible, but,
Mm.
but then we have weapons that takes priority over that.
Okay. Well, this then, of course, because you're focusing on the existing games, this wouldn't be a priority for this. But I have been wondering as well for Timesplitters 4, which will of course never exist officially. There was a lot of really awesome concept artwork, and there were ideas presented for new splitter designs. Some characters redesigned, like there was JoBeth Casey, the new version of her. Would you consider reviving pieces of Timesplitters 4 with some playable levels or characters?
So it's something that comes up a lot in our chat actually. A lot of us want to see Timesplitters 4 as being a thing, but there's also the weighing of Timesplitters 1, 2 and 3 combined is a big project on its own. So it's something that if we have the time and resources free at the end, we would love to do. It's just having that time and resources at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So it wouldn't be a key thing or something that is a necessity at the moment. It's just something that would be for consideration then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've just got a few final questions left here then. So, first of all, what do you feel that you could improve about the previous games, if anything? We've already said about the aiming. You can still have a moving crosshair, but you can, of course, improve it. Are there any other elements of the previous Timesplitters games that you feel you could improve?
So there's one big thing, and we've already improved it, and that's bringing it to PC. That's like the one thing that constantly that comes up in the community is, can I play Timesplitters on PC? And it's one of the only things we can confirm for the release right now is it'll be on PC.
Yeah, and that's
a big thing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have full mouse and keyboard support, like some people, of course, they use emulators to play Timesplitters with. Using a keyboard and mouse, it isn't really ideal on the emulator. It doesn't feel very good. But if you're building it for PC, and it is a PC game, so it's going to...
keyboard and mouse in mind, and controller support.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have the both. doesn't CryEngine have controller support by default anyway?
In a way, but you have to manually set the bindings and put up yourself and stuff. So it supports detecting the input, you just have to use the input yourself.
Right, okay.
Like you would with a keyboard, like you'd have to set up the keys and everything.
Yeah, so if, depending on what you want, you have to bind it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's got sort of generic first-person controls by default for mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, to close, what we have then is what do you love most about Timesplitters? What would you say is the main thing that you enjoy about it, about the series?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I say the Future Perfect campaign.
Yeah, I love the campaign.
It just kind of nails something for me. Like, it fits so well.
I think the voice acting is superb, and it's so funny. It constantly just delivers this really punchy dialogue and everything.
The thing about it though is, like, as a kid, like, the jumping from location to location, and it just, each location just resonates so well. Like, the horror mission in the Mansion of Madness, like, just going through that as a kid was terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's like, it still sticks for me as a fun thing. I admit the boss battle was a bit of a drain sometimes, but the whole map was enjoyable. I
think it's my favourite campaign level, definitely, Mansion of Madness. What would you say is your favourite campaign level in Timesplitters 2? Because I actually think Siberia is the best map in the entire game for the campaign.
Timesplitters 2 is a game that always puzzles me in my head, because I know I've played the whole game multiple times, but I always seem to, like, switch off memories after this first half.
Right.
Like, the later missions I just don't have memories of. So,
where'd you remember up to? Is it the first sort of couple of levels that you remember then of 2, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember, was it Fairway Factory in 2? No. I don't remember the mission squad, but the sneaking one.
Oh, the Neo Tokyo in 2, yeah.
Everyone would just run ahead and hide for 10 minutes while the person catches up.
That's exactly what I do. And see, it's really weird, not just that level, but a few other levels in Timesplitters 2, it's a very specific way you have to do it. Like, if you do, for example, when you see with Atom Smasher, when he plays Harry Tipper, it's overwhelming at first because you're on a time limit, but you'll find out the time limit doesn't actually matter. As long as you know the layout, you learn it like the back of your hand. And there's a lot of stuff like that in Timesplitters 2, and I think Future Perfect, it feels more polished, it feels more focused, I feel.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's all for the questions. Much appreciated for having the interview with me, and hope to hear more from you guys soon.
See ya.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.